What happened with the EIDL grant portal? Why has nothing changed? I'm going to talk about that and some theories on what I expect will happen next, and which workers count as employees for the PPP. We've just published the post that answers this question. I'm going to briefly explain who you can count, how to consider 1099s versus part-time versus full-time employees, and do international employees count? Finally, a quick stimulus and vaccine update. Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. It's Monday, January 18th. I hope you're doing well and you had a great weekend. A very brief update today to give you the latest news. And of course, we'll start with the elephant in the room, which is the SBA and why they haven't updated their website yet to have the new EIDL grant form. We are still waiting. We've been waiting over a week now. We thought 8 days ago we would see it change because 8 days ago was the 15-day mark. Then there were rumors about the 17th. Again, I was always suspect about those websites that talked about the 17th because I never saw a source and we never saw a confirmation from anyone at the SBA. That's probably by design. So there's good and bad news here. Obviously, the bad news is that we are all still waiting. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of you watching our app, tracking on our app, just waiting for more information. So we feel you. Obviously, we are watching it nonstop, so any changes, we will let you know. Any action, we will let you know. I know it's stressful to keep an eye on this and see what's happening, can I apply? Bottom line, we're still waiting. While I'm here, let's take a look at vaccination progress. There has been no movement. I mean, there are a lot of people complaining about how poor the state rollouts are and the federal rollouts are. But obviously, states control vaccine distribution in their jurisdictions, and it's just not going fast enough. And part of this is we don't have enough doses, but part of it is also disorganization. You know, this 11.1 million number hasn't changed in 4 or 5 days. We are watching the CDC data. It's not moving. Again, this is a tracker on the app as well. Also, a big thank you to everyone who tried out our funding calculator over the weekend. You know, in 30 seconds, you can see what you might be eligible for. I'm just going to put in some numbers here quickly, but basically, you can go ahead and see what options you might have. It's very quick. It's at helloskip.com/stimulus. And Casey from our team just put up this post because we've been seeing it a lot in the comments. So again, I'd love to hear your comments. We're doing our best to answer questions full time. I can't always answer the questions, but if you leave a comment and we see that it's a common question, we will write an article about it and I'll talk about it in a video. Which workers count as employees for the PPP? As we know, PPP will go live for most lenders this Tuesday. We have a couple lenders that are accepting a very limited number of applications. But here's the question. Do part-time employees count for your PPP application? Yes. Part-time W-2 employees do need to be included in your total employee count. Right, so that's an important point. Only businesses with less than 500 employees are eligible for a first draw loan, and only those with less than 300 are eligible for a second draw loan. So you need to count part-time and full-time in that calculation, and you need to count even if they aren't in the US. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And your payroll includes all the costs related to your employees like wages, taxes, insurance benefits, and even paid time off. You can include pay to your part-time employees as well as any benefits you offer them and wage taxes you pay. Do 1099 workers count for your PPP application? The answer is no. Based on our current understanding of the SBA guidelines, you cannot utilize your PPP loan to pay independent contractors and still qualify for full forgiveness. Of course, the main difference there is if you are an independent contractor paying yourself, aka a self-employed individual, then you can apply for yourself to cover your basically payroll, but you can't do it for other independent contractors. In that case, they would have the opportunity of applying on their own for a PPP. Final point, do international employees count for your PPP application? The answer is no. The PPP is designed to pay the cost of keeping workers in the US employed. Obviously, this is our tax money, all of our tax money if you're in the US paying taxes. So it doesn't make sense for you to be paying international employees, and you can't count them in your PPP application. It says on the form, is everyone in the US? However, our current understanding of SBA guidance is that you do need to count these employees towards your total employee count to determine if you are qualified as a, quote, small business or not. So keep that in mind. If you're a big team and you have a big international team, you'll need to include those in the calculation. Briefly on the case count, you know, the daily cases have gone down a bit over the last week. The 14-day change, as we see here, is still up 3%. Still very high. Deaths are still very high. We're going to hit the 500,000 deaths mark probably in the next 3-4 weeks. And we're crossing 24 million cases today as well. So there's nothing good about that, especially when you look at the vaccine news that we're still struggling to get out doses. A couple updates here. Both New York and California are talking about mass inoculation sites. So New York's talked about stadiums. LA public schools offer to serve as mass inoculation sites as well. So we're hearing more of that. Again, I hope the vaccine distribution gets better. A lot of that is the communication, who's eligible, who's not. You'd think that a state, let's say California or New York or Florida or Georgia, would be able to say, go to this website and here's eligibility. And if you're eligible, here's how to get an appointment. But it's not clear. It's kind of a mess right now. But if we can build the funding calculator in a day, then the states should be able to put something up in a day. I mean, this isn't rocket science here. It really isn't. Speaking of it isn't rocket science, the fact that this site hasn't been updated yet, I get why. It is a big deal because they know that millions of people are waiting, and if they don't have it exactly right, the potential for a disaster, speaking of disaster loan assistance, is very high if they don't have it right and fully tested. So I get why it may take a couple more days because they are waiting. They're making a list, checking it twice. They're testing it, and that should be seen as a good thing. Over the weekend, we saw them updating the site. Here's a screenshot we took yesterday that showed just that the styling, they were migrating everything. That was good progress to see something's happening. By the way, we're at hello.skip on Instagram. We're posting updates there. So in addition to these videos, you can also get quick updates on Instagram and Twitter, Skip Concierge. So I'm not surprised this is still like this, and I'm also not surprised that this page is still like this as well, saying only loans. Again, it's been 21 days today since the bill was signed into law. The SBA only had 15 days. Okay, but that's besides the point. I think everyone in the federal government knows that the most important thing here is for the SBA to get it right, to prevent fraud, which they had massive amounts of in the first round, and to help people who need it the most. So I hope that these delays mean that they are doing diligence, that they are making sure their policies make sense, and that they will help people who need it the most. I hear from the thousands of you leaving comments and explaining your situation, and when I talk to you on the phone or by email, honestly, you are the people that deserve these funds, not only the full 10K grant amounts, but also the loan options. So just want to say thank you for all of you that are reaching out and sharing your story. And I'm optimistic that the time the SBA is taking now is a good thing. It means they are thinking carefully about what this targeted EIDL grant really means and what the policy implications are for this definition, right? This definition of how they define it, again, it was in the law based on census tract, IRS data, low-income community, but it's all up to how the SBA interprets this and decides to give out the funding. And I think they have so much power to do something great here if they do this well. So we'll keep you posted. Maybe we will see something later today. Maybe we'll see something tomorrow. If we do, we will let you know. You'll be the first one to know. I mean, we're not only going to post it on our Instagram and our Twitter, but of course, we're also going to post it on our app, on the tracker, and send you a notification. Track EIDLgrant.com. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us, and for everyone sharing this with friends and colleagues. We really see so many of you are sharing this free app, and it's amazing benefit to others. Just want to say thank you for that. Stay well, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow.